Hello,
This
everyone,
is
and
Rock and Roll
welcome to
English.
another
Real
episode
people,
of Rock and
real
Roll
English.
Episode
Here's your
number
host,
332,
Martin Johnston.
To the baby. Oh, yeah. Now, in today's episode, it's arguably one of the best episodes ever of Rock and Roll English, but arguably also one of the worst. Because I spoke to the Hellraiser in a car. I thought this would be a good idea. I'm trying to, as the Hellraiser says in the podcast, push the envelope, like really pushing the boundaries to see what is possible in the podcasting world. Now, as you can imagine, the quality of the audio is not so good at all, really. It starts off okay, but unfortunately gets progressively worse because the car was moving faster. But I challenge you to listen and understand, because it is a really entertaining podcast. I am my own worst critic. I know if it's a good podcast or no. I have listened to it. I think it's a great podcast, but it will be very difficult to understand. So if you are listening to this, for example, on the bus, you're going to have a lot of difficulty. If you are on the train or at the gym, you basically need to sit down with a good pair of headphones and listen carefully. Now, remember, if you are in the Rock and Roll English family, you also have the transcript to this episode. So you can read and listen at the same time, which probably wouldn't be such a bad idea. But just to give people some background information about it, so maybe you can follow the story, because if at least you can follow more or less what's going on, you'll be fine. So I went to pick the Hellraiser up at the airport, Stansted Airport, which is about 30 minutes from my house, and there was a bit of a problem with the car park, okay, of where the Hellraiser was and where to pick him up. You will find out more about that. One other thing, actually, I had to use this audio because you will find out why in the podcast, but there's no way I couldn't have used this, because I have made podcasts in the past that have just gone to the bin because the audio wasn't so good. But this one, I thought, no, I have to use it. We also talk about the smell of my car. Okay, that's another big thing. There's a story about one time the Hellraiser tried to drive a car when he was young and trying to drive my car. Also a story about when I picked Boom Boom up from the airport once. Had a very different experience, believe me. And we also then, towards the end, talk about the Hellraiser's importance to Rock and Roll English. And then he finds my notes, which I had prepared before we came, and we start talking something about that. That probably doesn't make much sense, but if you listen to the podcast, hopefully it will make more sense. So here is the episode. I will talk to you at the end for some vocabulary, and there is some amazing vocabulary and lots of it. So I will talk to you all again at the end. Quickly on the point of vocabulary, if you haven't already, please take part in my 14-day vocabulary challenge for lazy people, okay? It's designed for lazy or busy people that have no time to study. It's totally free. You will improve your vocabulary. Absolute fact. All you need to do is listen to some podcasts. But if you're interested, click the link inside the podcast you are listening to right now. So yes, I will talk to you all at the end. Happy listening.
Well, let the fun start.
We've missed the best bit already. The fun started a long time ago.
So you're really going to hold it, yeah?
Why not? I'm a good driver, Hillary. Right,
Did you say that you wanted to get me a burger for?
I've
for
fucking
payment?
spent enough money already tonight. So for the listeners, I'm picking the Hellraiser up from the airport. Normally costs £7, which already was a blow. I must admit.
Worth it.
The Hellraiser went to a different place to get picked up, and that place cost £10. So I had to pay for both. So I paid £17.
But let's back up somewhat. You've missed some pretty big holes in this story. The first one is that I'd already sent you my location.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and
no,
you drove to a different location, and then we just have to. The really important thing is that it was free for 30 minutes, and you voluntarily paid. £10.
I definitely didn't.
So now I haven't got my burger, and you have spent £17 voluntarily.
So in response to what you just said, number one, you're sending me messages. I was driving. I can't be reading.
And you were nearly 30 minutes late.
I don't think that long. You told me.
I think next
you
time
said
I'm just gonna go with Mother Hellraiser.
I'm fucking not picking you up again, paying £17.
Well, let's look at the quality of this podcast. I mean, I was all really pumped for this. I thought, fuck, we're pushing the envelope now. We're doing a podcast in a car. This is
late night.
This is wild. You're driving with one hand. This could be our black box. This could be our obituary. We should make it good.
It bloody well better be good. I've paid £17. I'm driving at 11 o'clock at night.
And I'm hungry.
I was thinking, what a mate I am. Because, I'm picking you up at 11 o'clock at night. I don't believe that Mother Hellraiser would have wanted to pick you up. I very much believe she would have made you get the bus.
She would have been at the arrivals with a sign and a burger in the other hand.
I don't think that's true. I think you would have been on the Stansted Express right now.
Which could have been more comfortable. We're sitting in a tin can.
Hey, don't diss the car.
Peppa Pig toys in my regions.
Yeah, okay.
It smelled quite strongly of farts when I got here.
Yeah, you know what?
Gas.
I was thinking, because I have been farting a lot in the way. And
what kind of service is this? And you're all over the road.
And I was thinking, I wonder if he's going to pick that up. And so not only that, so the Hellraiser's texting me, I'm here, I'm there, trying to find him, paying more money every second. I then go to pay, and then I'm walking out from where I've paid, and I can just see the Hellraiser driving off with my car.
Yeah, just wanted to put it through its motions. Give it a test drive before this.
You know what? That actually reminded me of. I think it was maybe the first time I actually went to a nightclub. We went to Zeus in Chelmsford, and your auntie worked there.
Yeah.
And at the end of the night, she was giving us a lift home, and we were waiting in her car, and we were only like 16. And then you said you were going to drive it while she was she had to go back in to get something, probably forgot her coat or something. And then you said, I'm going to drive her car. And you obviously didn't know how to drive. And you were just stalling the car. So stalling the car, if people don't know, is when people that don't know how to drive try to drive and the car just goes like, duh. But then I was thinking, now he does know how to drive, and he is actually driving off with my car.
More dangerous.
Yeah,
more dangerous.
Exactly. But the thing about what the Hellraiser said, voluntarily paying, we're still not 100% sure about that.
100%. That's why I said I wanted to save you. I know you're a struggling teacher.
So I had to get a ticket. But
you didn't have to pay.
So I went in, I entered the car park, I had to get a ticket. It said 0 to 30 minutes, £10. £10. So
free.
So then, okay, when I put my ticket in the machine, then I'd only been in the car park 3 minutes. Why did it make me pay £10?
You don't need to pay. You don't need to put the ticket in. You voluntarily gave them a donation, which is quite nice. It's a small airport. Don't worry about it. Let's move on. We're here now. It's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. I'm hungry. It smells a bit like farts. You're not really driving very properly. It is late. I'm a bit tired. We could just call it a day.
You know what?
We've got no material.
Well, before I came out, because it's so late, normally I'm in bed by this time, I thought I'm going to have some digestive biscuits.
Oh, wow.
And I must admit, I've been trying to cut back on biscuits recently, and I think my body is now just says no to them, and it's had a bad reaction. So on the way up here, I must admit there were quite a few farts.
you need to be careful on biscuits, the devil's crumbs.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what though? You said no material because we are getting towards the end of our hilarious airport incidents. Oh, by the way, one other thing to explore there was one of the messages you sent me. I had my earpods in so I could call you safely whilst driving.
Yep.
And
more safety than now when you're driving one hand with a microphone in front of you. But yeah, I'm all for living on the edge. Carry on.
And it came through on my ear thing as I was listening to a podcast about football, about Gabby Bonglahor, if you're interested.
I am now.
It came through, the Hellraiser sent you a message which says, "Is that you in the Mercedes?" Do I look like a fucking person that drives a Mercedes?
It was just a really old lady with wiry hair and a big nose. It wasn't you at all. On closer inspection.
Is that you in the Mercedes?
There was a couple of times I thought it might have been you. In various cars, that some quite hairy guys driving past with loud Craig David music, but it wasn't.
Yeah, that's
you were 30 minutes late and in the wrong car.
That's how I used to drive when I was 17. I don't really drive like that anymore. In fact, my stereo, it's this one, isn't it? Is this it? Is this the left? No, it's not this one. It's not this one.
No, that's a truck stop. We don't want to get into truck stop now. Into dogging.
Dogging. Do you want to explain that one, Hellraiser? I mean, does that really happen? From what I know, it's you go into a car park and you flash the lights, and that means you want to have sex with the person.
What? Two young, handsome, agile guys like us pulling into a truck stop. It's not good. I mean, we know what's going to end. We know how that's going to end.
Yeah,
that's what I meant to say.
Where were we before, though? I had something really interesting to say.
We're on the right road.
No, but before we got to the road,
if you can't remember that, I'm quite surprised that you have a car. I thought that you would be having like a chariot with the two kids in the back. You and RnR front, like a tandem chariot.
The older I get, the more I hate cars. I just fuck them. Like
fuck cars.
Fuck cars. I go everywhere on the bike. I never get in the car these days.
Up your exhaust.
A bike. It's good for the environment. It's free. It's good for you. Health. The car is the opposite of all of that.
That is true. Are you stopping talking because we're approaching the roundabout?
Need two hands for the roundabout. Probably.
Yeah. Go.
Probably we'll get arrested when this podcast.
That would just if you do, just leave the microphones and we'll just document the whole thing.
No, I was thinking if a policeman listens to the podcast, that's probably not a good.
Do you think we've got old Bill learning English?
Old Bill. Very, very slang term there, people, just to talk about the police, by the way.
I guess someone could hand this in as evidence.
Yeah, well, exactly that.
I mean, this is just a simulation, guys. We're messing around.
And also, when you said I was late, you specifically said to me, drive slowly.
Yeah.
So basically saying, take your time.
Yep.
And then I also thought, you told me you had extra bags, so I thought, right, he's going to take bloody ages. Well, I fully expected you as well to get your burger when you were there.
I was expecting one.
Well, you expected me to bring you one.
Instead, you donated that to the airport.
I honestly can't believe it's cost me £17 to pick you up.
Yeah, but we're having a good time. Can you put a price on that? Really? You've seen your old mate. Yeah, this is the first time anyone has picked me up from the airport.
Because
okay.
Four beams are the lights, the strong ones. Because obviously the Hellraiser is difficult to track down. Basically, the only way to find him these days is if you go and pick him up from the airport, and even then it's not easy because he goes out the wrong entrance. I still don't. Why would you go out that one? You go out the front entrance, the main entrance.
Oh, I did it because it's free, and then you paid for it.
It's not free. It's £10. My car park was £7. You made me pay for both of them.
Well, when you drop me off, we can check it in the daylight. We're not on the return leg.
I'm not going back.
Yeah, come on. We have to finish it.
Ever again.
We can't just do half a trip.
What were we talking about again now? I've got sidetracked again.
You'd be talking about losing £17 for the majority of this exchange.
But I mean, can you actually believe I am picking you up from
I'm
the
happy
airport?
about it.
Oh, that was it. Because I was saying how it's difficult to track down the Hellraiser. You know, let's speak truths. He's a big name on the podcast. Wanted to get him on for a while, but as I said, not easy to track down. So I tried to tempt him with a £10 Amazon voucher, thinking, you know, that's a lot. A £10 Amazon voucher. It's cost me £17 plus petrol money, plus
the £10 voucher,
plus time, I won't be going to bed till midnight, and I'll be absolutely knackered tomorrow. The kids will be waking me up at fucking 5:30.
Oh, I mean, you know, I've got to go to work tomorrow.
But
so
is that true?
Yeah, in a way.
In a way, sure. Are you going to be waking up at 5:30?
Why would I wake up? We could go for a run in the morning if you want.
I might be walking around with baby RnR in a pram, hoping he'll go back to sleep. Probably not running though.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Somewhere in this car, I also have a piece of paper where I jotted down some notes in case we run out of material, which I fully expected we would. Do you want to have a look around for that?
Yeah.
Do you want to have a little rummage?
I'd love it. I'd love one.
Are you actually doing it? Because you just got your phone. Looks like you just...
No, I'm just texting
opening
now.
Instagram now.
Yeah.
You don't look like you're looking for that piece of paper very much. Oh, you got your torch on.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what we could do. We could listen to my stereo, which I haven't... we could listen to Frozen to Let It Go.
Okay.
CDs, because that's all we've got.
Oh, that's...
As you can see,
CDs,
don't spend a lot of money on the car. Definitely wasn't driving a Mercedes.
Sort of like umbrellas and things in here. Here we go.
Lots of kids stuff.
Let me give you a prompt.
Yes,
Ambulance.
Oh, yeah. So...
nose broke. Make sure...
Don't read out all the notes, Hellraiser.
All right. Fuck, I didn't know it was a secret.
They're in
I
order.
thought I was supposed to be reading them.
So, the first one, what does it say? What's the title of that section? I think will be
Family.
Nose Broken. A family podcast, that stuff we're going to talk about later, which is not safe for the normal one.
Okay, so do you want me to start from the top? Nose
I'll tell you what,
broke.
as well,
Ambulance.
if this audio doesn't come out...
I would...
where's your mic? Is it...
My mic's in here, mate. It's here.
I'll be fucking fuming if this doesn't come out.
But I thought that it wasn't... You weren't just picking me up for the podcast. I thought you were picking me up because you wanted to see me.
Also...
Yeah.
Also,
so,
and also my way.
It's win-win, isn't it?
Win-win, sure. Also, my way of showing you, I appreciate you giving up your time for me and for us, the rock and rollers.
And I
Definitely true.
I appreciate having the invite on the show. I feel like things are a bit tense at the moment, but I know in my heart that we can.
If this podcast comes out, or I think I've turned up the volume on the stereo. If this podcast comes out, it could be an all-time classic. But
could do. You're driving really slowly as well.
It's a 40 area Hellraiser.
You're
I'm going at 39. I'm going at 39.
You just put your foot on the accelerator.
We're going at 39. In fact, it's actually a 30 speed limit, so now we need to slow down. We've already said that I'm driving with one hand.
Yeah, but this is a simulation, so if there are any law enforcement listening to this, then this is all just a bit of a joke.
Sure. But yeah, to show my appreciation, I thought I'd pick you up. And,
sure.
you know, that's me. You're part of the RnR team, Hellraiser.
Well, sometimes it doesn't feel like it, you know? Sometimes it feels like I'm fighting my own battles and, you know, you're not supporting me. I'm not on your shoulders.
You are part of the team. Obviously, I'm the leader of the team, and I need to try and keep morale happy. I've also picked Boom Boom up from the airport, but Boom Boom went out the right. We went out.
So this is the second time you've done this.
Yeah, but two things to note: Boom Boom went out the correct exit. Same airport. He went out the correct exit.
He's such a dick.
So I only paid £7 for him, and there was no problem at all. It was just see you out the front. Yup, okay, saw him. Paid only £7.
I'd put money on it that was a boring podcast. Or
we
you
didn't actually
record?
record it.
Well, I mean, what's the point then?
Well, we came with Mrs. Boom Boom.
So you only come to pick me up when there's a podcast as a carrot for you. Is that it?
Not true. Because I thought at one point
this could be my resignation.
I thought Mrs. Hellraiser was here as well, and I thought, well, that's the podcast out the window.
My wife.
Partner. So I thought, well, that's the podcast out the window, but I was still going to come and pick you up. This is just a bonus. You know what? I thought, kill two birds with one stone. I'm a busy man, Hellraiser. I've got 2 jobs, 2 kids, got lots going on. Okay.
I know you haven't got time for my BS.
So keep
anyway,
morale happy.
just we can circle back. I'm happy to be here.
Okay.
And,
well,
you can splice this bit at the front of the podcast, so that we can start off on a high note.
Sure. As long as this podcast comes, I'll be happy as well. It'll be worth the £17, but I am very worried about this audio. I'm worried that I'm putting my finger over the part where.
Let's just ride the wave, baby.
Yeah,
we're already riding it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but that wave. Sorry, I can't even speak. Yeah, that wave will come crashing down extremely heavily if the audio is bad. Because if it's one of those podcasts which I have created in the past which you can't use, there is nothing worse in the world.
There's a lot going on in the world at the moment, but
in my pathetic world.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah, just to clarify. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are we going to move on to my notes?
I'd love to. Should I start from the top?
It's from the top.
Nose broke.
Yeah.
Underlined twice.
I think I did mention this to you that baby RnR broke my nose and I ended up in hospital. So
you're fucking kidding?
Nah, serious, mate. Had to have a day off work, and they also told me that I was concussed.
So we are going to stop today's podcast there, and the story of when baby RnR broke my nose quite recently will be continued in the Rock and Roll English family area. So if you would like to listen to the rest of the episode and more than 1,000 extra exclusive episodes, also with transcripts, then go to rockandrollenglish.com, then click Become a Member. So let's have a look at some of the vocabulary from today. And there was a lot. We had, at the beginning, the Hellraiser said there were lots of holes in my story about me saying how I paid for the car park. So if there are holes in your story, there are things that you're not saying. And he also mentioned he was really pumped for this podcast, so really excited for it. I mentioned at the beginning how he said we're pushing the envelope, like pushing the boundaries. And I also said to the Hellraiser, don't diss my car, so don't speak badly about my car. I mentioned how the Hellraiser stalled his aunt's car, his auntie's car. So when you stall a car, it's when you kind of go boop and the car switches off and you have to switch it on again. Always embarrassing. The Hellraiser then said, I think we should just call it a day because we've got no material. So call it a day means to say, right, that's it for today, no more. I also mentioned how I have been trying to cut back on biscuits. So if you cut back on something, you reduce the amount, usually, of something that you eat or drink or smoke. The Hellraiser mentioned the police and referred to them as the old bill, which is a very slang term here in the UK to talk about the police. He also spoke about full beams. So full beams, I spoke about that, is when you're driving at night and you have the lights, but then you have the super lights. Let's say we often call them full beams. And I kept getting sidetracked when we were talking. So when you get sidetracked, you're talking about something, then you're talking about something completely different. I also mentioned how I had a piece of paper where I jotted down some notes. So to jot down is a lovely term to say, just write a few kind of informal notes. And the Hellraiser was looking for it. And I said, do you want to have a little rummage? So to rummage means we use this especially when you're looking for something. especially looking in a bag. We often use this to say rummaging through a bag. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you managed to understand something. I will talk to you all very soon, people. But in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.